Salutations everyone, this is Razor here bringing you some domination gameplay on the standoff using the FAL with the VSAT, VTOL, on the Swarm, all the good shit that makes people leave, because what I want to do is win the game, and when there's no one to fight against, kind of makes it kind of easy. But, you know, less people to kill at the same time, but whatever, it's background noise for you guys. Well, I give you some food for thought. Well, today I'm going to be talking about is the vocal minorities and the silent majorities, because of this dynamic, it creates quite a problem with the proliferation of ideas and opinions online, especially when it comes to video gaming. A recent example of this, there's actually a couple of recent examples, but one example that we're all familiar with that's, you know, kind of an old story at this point, is the whole Xbox One thing and all the problems that people had with it, and the reversal of them. You know, all those things that people had a problem with are now changed, with the exception of Xbox Connect still shipping with the console, which I highly doubt is going to change for the various reasons that I explained in the Thoughts on Xbox Connect video. Not to say that in the future there might not be a standalone version, you know, 2, 3, 4 years down the line, even though I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't happen at the same time. It's whatever. Irregardless, we saw a lot of people complaining about some of these things, and it seemed like these issues were more pressing than they actually were, because the people that had the problems with them were just so damn vocal about their opinions. So it seemed like a bigger issue than it was. It seemed like more people shared this opinion than in actuality, just because of how loud they talked and how often they talked. Like the Xbox Connect spying on you stuff. Now, granted, I didn't like the Xbox Connect needing to be on just as much as anyone else, because it's like, why? That's a rather frivolous kind of qualification to me, that need to be a thing. But that's done and over with, so we don't have to worry about that. But at the same time, a lot of people were like, whoa, the government's going to spy on us, man, because everyone is fucking retarded, apparently. Or at least it seemed like that, just because of how vocal these stupid people were. It was never going to happen that anyone was going to get spied on using a video game system. I mean, everyone has a webcam on their laptop right now and on their phone right now, and no one has a problem with that being on at all times, because guess what? It is. And it can be, you know, theoretically hacked into just as much as you are afraid of the Xbox Connect of being so. So, stupid people will be stupid. That isn't news. That's not something that I feel that I need to cover. But at the same time, they made the issue a lot bigger than it was, because they were the vocal minority. And people, including myself, were part of the silent majority, because we didn't even give this argument credence. We didn't give it the time of day to consider it as a possibility. We knew better, because we're not 7 years old and we don't listen to everything that we hear, because we're not dummies. But the vocal minority out there, they're very, very impressionable. They're very, very stupid. They'll listen to anything that anyone wants to say. They're swayed very easily, especially when everyone nowadays are predisposed to think a certain way, whether it's about the government or about big business, or, you know, fill in the blank. Some people are more predisposed to think certain ways than other people, and that's perfectly, you know, understandable and reasonable. That's just kind of how the times are right now. But at the same time, there's a lot of people, including myself, out there, who are just like, yeah, what are these idiots talking about? What do these nerds have a problem with this an Xbox Connect being on? I understand that I didn't want it either, but for different reasons, for, you know, real reasons that actually mattered in reality, when everyone else's problems was in this fictitious world written by George Orwell. It didn't make any sense, because I'm not an idiot. I don't know what it's like to be an idiot, so I can't really tell you what their thought process was. But at the same time, you know, this is a problem that translates to other things in the gaming world, like Call of Duty, for instance, is something that we're all very, very familiar with. And with the upcoming Call of Duty Ghost here in a few months, we're going to see this again, whether it be with perks or, you know, the sniping, which is always a hot button issue with quick scoping and stuff. If it's good, people complain about it. If it's bad, people complain about it. and the way that the perks are set up, and what's going to be overpowered and what's not going to be. Because regardless of how great the multiplayer reveal looked, it's always going to look great. I mean, every single multiplayer reveal for Call of Duty looks good because that's just how they present it. They have complete control over what is shown, what is not shown, what they highlight, and how much of it. So in a very controlled experiment, they're able to show this, and it's really just a small sample of what we can see. We can't feel the game. Even the people that were there to play the game don't have a full grasp of the game as they would like to think that they do, just because all the stuff isn't available to them. They don't have a lot of time, and let's face it, not everyone is as observant as they would like to think that they are. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying there are limitations to what people have been able to experience with this with the online multiplayer reveal, and we'll learn more and more as the days goes on. But we don't know enough about this game yet. And, we know more than I thought that we would at this point, not going to lie, just because this is the first that we've ever heard of the multiplayer, and we know a lot now. And if you guys want me to expound upon, in a different video, why I think Ghost is going to be good, or in another video why I think, there are some reasons for its concern, I can make that video. It's going to be very, very easy, because, with every Call of Duty, it's going to bring some bad things, and it's going to bring some good things. You can say that about every single Call of Duty. Because regardless of what your favorite COD is or what your least favorite COD is, if you're truly honest with yourself and you're not some fanboy idiot with their blinders on, you can say that every single COD has brought us some good things, and every single COD at the same time has also brought us some bad things. Every game has made steps forward, and they've also had some steps back. And there's some... every single COD fails to keep all the improvements that the last one made, make some different improvements on their own, but at the same time make some failures that the other ones didn't make, or, some sort of variation on that. That's just the way that it works because of the way that the game is made, the way that the people, what the people want. They want to please as many people as possible, which is, almost never a good thing, because if you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing nobody. But at the same time, this game is very popular. The franchise is very popular. It's gonna make a lot of sales, and a lot of people are going to like it. But just be wary of the silent majorities and the vocal minorities, like the sniping issue for one. When the patch came out against the DSR and changed the way that gun handled all the death threats and stuff to David Von Har and all that stuff. That was a vocal minority. Because out of the 8 million people that play Call of Duty Black Ops 2, most of them aren't quickscoping most of the time. That's the silent majority right there. But it made it seem like it was a bigger deal because of how vocal the minority was. Whether they're wrong or right, I'm not saying that the one side's always wrong and one side's always right. But you just got to be wary of these kind of things and realize that most problems are not as big as you would think they are. It's just because people want you to think that way. Because a lot of people out there, they want to put their opinion out there so that they can sway other people's minds, whether that's wrong or right, to just get it the way that they want. Like backwards compatibility for the new systems, PS4 and the Xbox One don't have backwards compatibility. It seemed like there's an uproar against that, but that was just a vocal minority. Very, very small amount of people actually care about this. And you'd be like, well, no, it doesn't seem that way. It honestly is, because how many of you would be playing Xbox One games right now on your 360? How many of you people out there would be playing your PlayStation 2 games on your PS3 every other day? Insanely small amount of people. People don't really care. People always love to complain about graphics, like, this COD looks just like the last COD. No one fucking cares about graphics. I can tell you that. No one cares about graphics because, this isn't, the rule, but Minecraft sold 9 million copies, and we can't say that that's the best looking game of all time. People like to say these things just because that's how people talk, It's just the proliferation of ideas. People seem to think that some problems are bigger than they actually are, or that some problems are actual problems, when in reality they really aren't at all. And this is troublesome to those of us that are out there that aren't part of this vocal minority, because less people are being pleased in a way that they should be, as opposed to what's best for the game, what's best for everyone, as opposed to just a small group of people. because that's just how the community works. Like Firefly, for instance, has a huge like cult following. Cult followings are one of those vocal minorities. All these, they'll say that these things failed, but they have a big following afterwards because the people that liked it really, really liked it. But most people didn't like it. Otherwise, it would have succeeded. There are some, different exceptions and variations to this kind of thing, but it pretty much comes down to, the same principles. And it's always nice when, everyone gets their way and that doesn't intrude on anyone else, having their way or having fun or whatever. But when you compromise the experience of other people, it's never a conducive strategy to make it for the greater, make anything really for the greater good. If you can please everyone, and that's just fine, but it's not possible because not everyone's going to be pleased. Even if you give in to everyone's demands, like the whole Xbox One reversal. It's like, okay, we did what you said you wanted. Yeah, we're not happy now because you changed it. It's like you can't please all people. But you just got to be wary of where you're getting for information. Start thinking for yourself and not just listening to whoever has the biggest voice, whoever talks the most. Just think for yourself and just realize that some things aren't what they seem. So hope you guys enjoyed. Comments always appreciated, and I will see you next time.